What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crush This Monster Truck Podcast. It's going to be an awesome episode this week, guys. Jasmin Borders is on the show tonight. We were supposed to have a pre-recorded episode with her go live last week, but a bunch of news and some stuff has been released, and we decided to have her on live, and she's going to talk about all the exciting stuff that's happening with her and her career so far. Cheech is on the episode tonight. They are traveling back from Colorado. I think he's somewhere in Missouri. Hopefully he can tell us the funny story that he told me and Jasmin before we went live. Just want to say thank you to J Concepts. J Concepts has been one of our longest supporters of the podcast, and we have a code on their website. Go check it out. Use code CRUSHTHIS at jconcepts.net for 15% off all items. Dan, sponsored by J Concepts. Our buddy Josh Rhodes. So many of our other Grid RC buddies are sponsored by J Concepts. Check out Monster Truck Attitude on Facebook, home of Thursday Night Thunder. They're doing some more kind of specialty events, so go check out what they are doing. Go check out Bryce Kenny's book, Geared for Life, Making a Shift for Your Full Potential. I have read it. It is such a great book. A lot of good advice in there. If you are stuck or struggling somewhere in your life, check it out. Bryce has some really good, things that you can adapt in your life. And check out Cole Venard's limslikeme.org. If you want more info, lminfo@limslikeme.org. Guys, it is going to be an awesome episode. Cheech is being I never know what Cheech is going to do for an intro for this show. So, also check out Back Channel Productions. Nick Davis and Back Channel Productions. Nick is such a great dude. Always helps us out. MTRC with Colby Marshall. Always does a bang up job. Does stuff with the Monster Blog. And kind of him and Ross, two of the main parts of Back Channel Productions, or not Back Channel, Monster Blog. And guys, we are going to get into our episode here. We are going to play our ad from Back Channel Productions and then get into the intro here. Stay tuned, everybody.
This isn't your typical motorsports podcast. You're listening to Crush This, a monster truck podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. A show where we take you inside the minds of your favorite drivers, past and present, of the monster truck industry. And now, your hosts, Brad Shaw and Dan Cheech. Buckle in. The show starts now.
It's going to get real when they have to bust out the WD-40.
I was going to stay here the whole time. I practiced like 50 times.
See, I saw Cheech just
hey everybody.
Every couple of seconds I would look and I'd did he die? Oh, there he is.
There Dang it. Okay, sorry. I'm back. Not in my studio. I'm in. No, Richie, we don't want to try any of your stuff. It's not a bull pucky. We're going with the OG. There we go. That's cool. Maybe we can get hooked. Maybe somebody from WD-40 will sponsor our podcast, and then they'll call Jasmine and be like, "Hey, we want to sponsor your truck."
Yeah. Well, guys, we have Miss Jasmin Borders on the podcast tonight. Jasmin, how's it going tonight? Oh, can't hear you.
It's okay. So we're gonna have that a lot of phone flipping, a lot of that stuff going on here. But
Cheech is in the mobile studio, and Jasmine's in the mobile studio garage.
yeah, Brad right now is the only one currently having a legit studio as of right now.
With new audio equipment, new microphone.
Is it working?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, it's working. We can't see you now.
There we go.
Oh, we see you.
There. Hopefully it stays.
All right. Cool. If not, we can always put WD-40 in.
So, Jasmin, we were supposed to have you on do a pre-recorded episode last week, but as Cheech just told me, you have a bunch of news that has recently come out. But before we get into all that, how has your summer season been going? Driving with your family.
Yeah, this summer's been a lot better than what last summer was. I've actually won racing this summer, and overall, I feel like the competing has gotten a lot better. So now I'm up there in competition, and I actually have to try harder to earn that win. Unlike last year, where I was like falling behind. This year, I actually have figured out what the truck wants to do, which, unlike last year, whenever I was still a little bit timid and scared, now I'm not scared. Now I'm not scared to see what that truck will end up doing.
And you also kind of, like we talked about before, yeah, you had your first win, but you also had your first rollover at Washington, Missouri. And, you had your first win, so you had both sides of the coin. But it kind of explain to someone, I mean, obviously people see this and everything like that. Rollover, it seems more common now in the monster truck, but when it's your first time doing it, I mean, it happens so fast. So what happened beforehand and then during and after?
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
it happened again. Good night, folks. All right, we're done with WD-40.
There, is it working?
Yeah, we got you.
It's still a brand new can.
Okay. Anyway, so like whenever I lined up and like I didn't know what was gonna happen. Obviously, you never know whenever. But like I lined up and I was like, I thought I was straight. Clearly I wasn't. And I was like, oh, this is actually gonna be a good hit. But when I backed up crooked, and then I hit it, and I went off to the side, and I was like, oh, crap. And there was nothing I could do. It happened so fast, I'm like, oh, there's ground. I can't. I tried to save it, but I couldn't. It just hit the ground. I'm like, this might hurt. And then I just laid there, like, whenever I was on the ground, I was like, this rolled over. It actually happened. And I was waiting for somebody to come get me, and I was like, is anybody going to actually come check on me? And finally, somebody came, and I was like, I won. And that was probably the biggest mistake I ever made because I was stuck, and it took my dad to like try to reach in there and grab a hold of me, pull me out. And I don't ever want to experience that one again. And it was kind of like a terrifying moment, and I was in panic. But afterwards, like looking back on it, it really wasn't too bad. It could have been a lot worse. I could have flipped upside down and hurled it and been completely over. But I really just put it on its side, which wasn't too bad.
Well, and that's a learning experience. Like, hey, I want to make sure that my truck is set up where I'm not going to go over a ramp crooked or the car's crooked. Now it's something that now you'll have experience with. And you've been on tour with doing with the Full Throttle show, I think it's the Full Throttle tour, and a lot of other promoters. How has that been this year? I know that you've done some stuff with the Stomper team, American Scout, the Superstar Roger Gallagher. How has that been? And even with your driving with your dad, how has that been learning from all these awesome drivers and up and comers as well?
It's been a good feeling. It's been a good experience. I can take and learn. I have good people to watch and support me. And it's like just a big happy family is what they'll tell you. Is it's a big monster truck family, especially running with Colton and Roger. Roger running Bigfoot. It's nice to say like my second season I got to run with Bigfoot. And running with my dad can be challenging because it's, the father daughter arguing, constantly being on the road, and it seems like I never can get away from him. But overall, I've liked it, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way my past 2 years because if I struggle with something, there's always somebody there for like that can help me. Or with Richie, he'll say something stupid right before just to make me laugh and be like, "Go have fun, just go have fun." What do I tell you? Go have fun. That's constantly what Richie will tell you, and I know he's watching because he said he was going to. But and they've also helped push me to be where I need to be, which the exciting news, which will be told later, which some people already know about. But having Colton and Roger and Stomper and all the people we've ran with push me that far has honestly helped a lot. Because without them, I don't think I could have. I don't think I would be where I am today and getting the opportunity that I'm getting.
Well, and you mentioned something there that I kind of can understand myself is when you said, working with your dad, because I do that on a daily basis. I work with my dad on a 40-ton picker truck, and working with family can be very frustrating and annoying. So, I can completely understand that 100%.
Yeah, me and my dad butt heads. I try not to. I try to just let him be and be like, okay, well, whatever. You're making me mad. I'll walk away. But it's not always easy because then there's times like you have to work together on a project. But we've kind of figured out our thing. I do my own thing. He does his. So now we're finally getting in the groove of it. So we don't argue as much, unlike me and my grandpa. We just argue all the time for no reason.
Oh, that's lovely. Anyway, I'm just kidding. That. So, you're getting ready. The summer's been doing good. You updated the motor and stuff like that. Um, you're having learning experience. I was there at Yeah, I got my camera straightened out. I used a hand towel thing, and then my earphone case, and that WD-40 can as the back stabilizer for my camera there. So I am currently in a level playing field, but I stand out my phone so I can go. That's her tech sister right there that hooked her up with the iPhone earpods, stuff like that. But
Yep.
But with that, I remember going to Terre Haute, and it was pretty cool watching those shows. I love going to the not Throttle Monster, but the Full Throttle shows. Don't kill me. They're and I'm forgetting I'm so right now ecstatic about what's going on here. I forget it's JR. JR is the one that runs Full Throttle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Whew, got that right. Well, he puts on a good. It always reminds me of kind of the like late '80s, '90s classic type of monster truck show, which just I don't know. I enjoy any type of show in general. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. But let's talk about racing, because it seemed like I remember you were telling me a story about how you were just lining up, and before you know it, the light's already green, and before you even stage, you're already taking off.
That was my first pass. I didn't know what was happening. It was the very first time that I went out there for racing, and I was pulling up to the line, and then I pulled back, and then there's the light. The light goes green, and I'm not even ready yet, so I just slam on the gas, and I'm like, okay, guess we're gonna hold on, and then finally I slammed it into second, and I was like, okay, well that happened a lot faster than what I thought, because I wasn't used to the truck going fast. So just go out there, hold it to the floor. That truck can take it. And I didn't believe it until that point. But that moment, I took it and it just went. And I was not prepared for that at all.
Was that after or before you got the new motor?
That was after.
After. Okay, so you weren't ready for the amount of power that you had under your foot. And how's that been? Adjusting to having a bit more power, under your foot and getting used to that.
Yeah, I got used to having the smaller motor because it was just, to me, it was a baby motor is what it was. It was a nice starting out motor. But now switching into the big one, I'm like, my dad's telling me, you can keep up with everybody. You can beat them. You just gotta put your foot to the floor. And I was a little scared of it because I'm like, I don't know if a truck can take it. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how fast this will go. But finally, like, I just did it, and I'm like, this is nice because now I feel like I can compete with everybody else. Versus before, I'm like, this baby motor, I can't do it. There's no way. There's no way I can go out there and beat Colton or Roger with basically nothing. But now it's helped. It's also helped like the confidence and stuff. Like, I can do it. I finally can do it.
It looks like also, I don't know, at Terre Haute, though, it looked like at the top end of the track, it sounded like you were running a little bit out of gear. It seems like if you had the right gear setup on that truck, you'd be bad fast, and stuff like that. But then again, that's how when I was watching Terre Haute, that's how you're beating a lot of these guys is off the line. By the time I think they're already over the first car, you're already about 2 truck length ahead of them. So it was kind of cool seeing how it was like kind of like a slingshot type deal, like a shake and bake move, but with your own truck. And you're going with that. The finals was between you and your dad, which off topic, saw a post. It looks like your dad, you guys got a new motor from Ohio Crank. Coming over 540 for your dad's Rebestis truck, which is pretty cool because that same Washington, Missouri show, outside of the rollover, your dad blew the motor. So that was kind of not a fun night for Team Funky Monkey. But hey, we all have those days. You bounce back and go for another show. So that's cool seeing that your dad got a new heart transplant for the truck.
Yeah, we did. He actually went and picked it up today. Like, he took pictures of and posted it, and it's actually sitting, like, not that far away from me. It's a lot nicer now, but hopefully he doesn't blow up this motor like he did the last one. We don't need that to happen. I think he's excited now that he's actually getting a new motor. And they wanted to put it in tonight. My grandpa wanted to. My dad's like, no, she has stuff that needs to happen. I've drove too much today. It's not going to happen.
One cool thing is, we've had 3 generations of your family on the podcast. We've had your grandfather, your dad, and now you. And just talk about, continuing your legacy with your family, because I remember watching your grandfather on CNN Motor Madness when I was a kid. And, just what's it like, growing up in the industry and, people knowing about your family and continuing on that legacy?
Like, growing up and stuff, this, like, monster trucks is my life. Everybody's like, oh, it's cool. It's cool. I'm like, I wish I had that. But, like, to me, it's just another day. Like, I'm used to it. And, like, now everybody's like, oh, I know your grandpa. I've raced your grandpa. Or I've saw pictures of what he's done. So it's like now I have his shoes to fill, which is everybody knows who he is. So everybody's going to want his grandkid to do well, too. Everybody's going to think, oh, he did it. So, and they share the same blood, so she could do it. And then my dad did it. So my dad had to fill my grandpa's shoes. And now I feel like I have to, like, compete with my dad and try to be better than him. So legacy, it's hard, though, because it's like I have to compete with these two and try to be better and compete for the spotlight. But I think I've done good at it. And competing with my dad sometimes can be hard. But, like, filling the shoes, I have good shoes to try to fill because both of them have done a really good job, like, starting off the business and now letting me drive.
And then also you're also making your own path. You're hopefully, if everything goes right, and we'll release the news on this podcast, you're gonna do something that that a lot of people, and then it'd be cool because this company has done a lot of stuff with next gen drivers from the family's past, and they have been making their own pathway to that, and that got to be exciting for you too, knowing that that you have your own outside of their family's legacy. You have Jasmine to worry about as a product. So you have to market Jasmine and being the third generation person, but you're kind of marketing yourself on your own pathway.
Yeah, so like run it like back to the legacy with like my dad and my grandpa. They've both given me everything that I need to succeed, and now they've laid like the stepping stones. And now there's two paths that I can go. Like one, I could continue doing what I'm doing, or I could go do something else. And honestly, like it's kind of been nice, but now it's time that I need to like pursue my own career. Maybe with my dad, or maybe it might not be anymore. But that'll be later on whenever hopefully my dad comes out here at some point.
And one thing I wanted to ask, have you gone back and looked at some of the old footage of your dad driving and your grandfather driving? Because I always like my wife gets after me like, why are you watching that old stuff? Watch new stuff. I'm like, because this is what I remember. This is what I grew up on. Like, what have you been able to kind of dig up and find and watch on your family?
I found some old like things that my grandpa's done, like racing and like little car crushes and stuff. We found some old pictures and videos, and then like I saw whenever my dad was little, like standing next to tires, and whenever he first started like racing, there's videos of that. And it's crazy to see like how far like things have changed though, because if you look back onto like where everybody started versus where we are now, it's like it's night and day difference completely.
Sorry, I need to get some extra lighting, so I turned my television on in my rig. So it's this. So I can at least have some little lighting.
You got a fancy rig.
Oh yeah, it's a Freightliner Cascadia.
So Cheech is in the Studio de la Freightliner or something. Freight Shaker Studios.
Freight Shaker Studios, sponsored by Wendy's and WD-40. Yep, there we go. Okay, so let's talk about Cincinnati there, Jasmine. I know we talked about beforehand the recording, but you're getting ready for that. But talk about that awesome, I guess you would say, girls' trip to a monster truck show, and watching some Monster Jam.
Like that trip had been planned for a little while. Even though we didn't buy tickets, and my dad, we waited until last minute, like 3 days before I left, to actually buy the tickets. Even though I kind of had it planned. Like, one of my friends has not been since she was 9. She wanted to go, and I was like, okay, well, Cincinnati's close. That's the closest one we have recently. Like, now. My birthday's coming up, and I'm like, I need a, trip. I just want to go watch Monster Jam. And it's something different. They can do crazy crap, and I can watch them tear up this stuff, and I can leave afterwards. Well, so we got up really, really, really early that morning and drove the 3 hours to go to Cincinnati. We got there. We ended up getting lost in Cincinnati. We ended up somehow in Kentucky and back in Ohio, and we couldn't find a place to park. And I'm like freaking out because I'm by myself with my friend who was not very much help. She's not a good direction person at all. And like finally we got there and we walked into Monster Jam and we got the pit party passes and stuff so we could talk to people. And like you walk in and all the trucks are there, and it was kind of like unbelievable because I'm like, oh wow, we're actually here. Like this is what everybody talks about, is the big Monster Jam stuff. And like we walked in and we walked around and we got to actually talk to people. We talked to Tyler, and luckily Tom was there, so I got to talk to Tom and just enjoy it. We got seats like 2 rows that were like 2 rows from the front. We witnessed that entire like first morning show. And then like afterwards, I'm like, I kind of want to go back for the nighttime show. I'm like, I'm already here, might as well do it. And I called my dad. Well, I actually called my stepmom because my dad never answers his phone. So I called her and I was like, can I go to the second show? She's like, I don't care. Whatever. So we actually went back to the second show, which was not planned. We only planned to go to the one show. And we watched the second show, which that one kind of sucked because Tyler wasn't there. But we watched the second show and actually getting to like watch them compete and stuff. It was something that everybody at least needs to experience once, and that was probably the best trip of my entire life.
because we just got to have fun and let loose. I want to go again, even though we didn't get home until like 2 o'clock in the morning. Almost stayed up 24 hours, and then my friend slept the next day, like the entire next day, and I had to get up and help Dad. But it, and then there was news that came out of it that we didn't think was going to happen. I just went to watch a show, but I actually had to meet with Tyler and I had to meet with Tom, which nobody knew about, and got information out of that. But I'm not going to say what that one is yet.
There's something to be said. Like, I recently went to like the Metallica concert in Edmonton, and like even if I go to monster truck shows now, I hardly am on my phone taking pictures or taking videos. There's something to be said about just going to an event and just enjoying it. Like when I went to the Monster Jam show in Edmonton, even when I went to Monster Truck Throwdown the same weekend I went to Metallica, everybody had their phones out, but like put that stuff away, people. Like, just enjoy the event for what it is. Like, and I feel that's probably like what you guys did. Like, you guys were just in the moment and being there and being present in the moment. Like, there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, so like I took a few pictures, but mainly my friend took them all and then like sent them to me. But like the first show we took more pictures, but then whenever we went to the second one, we were like, we're just gonna enjoy it. We're just gonna sit there and watch it. And that's exactly what we did. Also, our phones were almost dead, but we just watched it. And there's something different about you just watching it, because it's different from watching it through your phone versus watching it live. Like, I paid money for those tickets. I'm gonna sit there and enjoy every moment that I can before I have to go home and actually work on trucks, unlike the drivers there have to.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me and Nathan here. We were at 10 days at Pueblo, Colorado for the Colorado State Fair. And our shift starts at 11 and ends at 8. So Friday night, when our shift was over with, we went down to the rodeo arena, and guess who was there? Toughest Monster Truck Tour. So we went ahead and we watched it, didn't do anything else, and we watched a pretty good show right there with kind of the Toughest Monster Truck Tour regulars outside of, Dirt Crew, Blockhead. Yeah, Velociraptor and Kamikaze were the only two that were toughest regulars. Then you had Smashosaurus and Tailgater. But yeah, like what you guys were talking about, we did the same thing. We had an opportunity after we were done with our work and we got our names. We went ahead and enjoyed a monster truck show. Just sat back and watched it at a historical venue, which a lot of people may not give credit to the Colorado, the arena that's there. I mean, that was the first arena I ever saw when I was a kid. After watching Monster Truck bloopers, the Bigfoot versus Taurus straight line. But anyway, yeah, all three of us kind of enjoyed some good monster truck action, and I envy Brad because he went to see Metallica, which is pretty cool.
Even like, I don't know, just I remember when I went to World Finals and during Two Wheel Skills when Armando did that insane nose wheelie to backflip, I was staring at my phone trying to take a video of it, and that's the moment that made me, you know what, I just gotta enjoy these events for what it is, and just be in the moment, and especially like seeing a band like Metallica for 2 nights. Like I took a video when they a Snapchat video of me looking at me and the stadium when they did their opening songs in both nights, and that was it. That's the only pictures or videos I took. Just I don't know. I just see so many people on their phones during these events. I'm just like, just shut those things off and be present, man.
Yeah, that's it. Like, even whenever I went to Champaign to see Cheech, whenever he invited us to go, me and my dad, I'm like, I took a little bit of videos, but I'm like, I'm putting those away. Like, I don't get to experience, even though it was a mud show, literally a mud show, but like that's the first mud show that I've really got to like watch. So I'm like, I'm just gonna put my phone away. Like, I was still on it a little bit, but every time somebody raced, I paid attention to that because I'm like, I'm not gonna ever get to really experience this like ever again. And then I got to watch Cheech win racing, which is pretty cool.
Hey. Yes. And especially now becoming being a driver, you kind of watch everyone just it was just weird. Like when I was once again at Terre Haute, I didn't do a lot of filming or pictures or anything like that. But I was like, I was like kind of more curious. Okay, she went one, two. On the course, just trying to figure out, just get ideas and stuff like that. And outside of that, I was trying to message Las Vegas and seeing how badly Richie's son's Colton's truck gets destroyed. And then instead he hits the wall. So I got $200 from Vegas. Thanks, Richie. Anyway, the just kind of learning about the stuff like that is really, really, I guess the small details on just you're there, kind of a little bit learning, not really you're trying to enjoy it, but you're thinking in your head, okay, this person's doing that, this person's doing this. Next time I may try it.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of, well, my dad might not like this, but whenever I went to Monster Jam, it's kind of another reason why I went, because I'm like, I can watch these drivers. They're good. Like Tyler's obviously good. And like you can watch, oh, they hit things like this. This makes the truck do that. Like maybe I could do this. Just to overall make like the performance. And it's the little things that like normal people who sit there just watching. They're not like thinking, oh, this is how this happens and like all this stuff. But I was sitting there like, okay, well at JR shows, yeah, those are just dirt, but I can apply it to do this, and maybe my truck will get up higher. It's definitely the little things.
Well, like I notice when I go to shows now, I'm watching the truck, watching certain things, how it's working, looking like, okay, if it lands like this, I'm looking, okay, what kind of, if the truck looks tweaked, I'm looking like, hey, what caused this? That's just certain things that I notice now when I go to shows. And that's probably the same for you two, now that both of you are driving and you guys have been crewing for a while. You guys, even if you're just at a show, as a fan, you're like, okay, I'm here as a fan, but I'm still gonna look at the show as through a driver's perspective or a crew person's perspective.
Yeah, like there in Champaign, I was really watching because like Cheech did a good job, but then there was others that like you had too much power, and like me and my dad were sitting there talking because being drivers, you talk about that stuff. It's like if you would just let off and go into it slower, you'd be fine. But instead of like, don't force yourself in the mud because you obviously ain't going anywhere. Like just let off. And it's like the little things. It's like if they did this, they could have made it, but instead they didn't.
There's one video that showed Zach going around a turn. He actually was going backwards instead of forwards, which was crazy to see. I was like, and Zach's like, I'm going backwards. And then go over, and he's doing his own thing. It's just, and then if kind of like the smaller details that people don't know, which I learned also was at Champaign. If you watched Mark Hall drove his truck, he actually went further out to where the drier path was, make his turn, and then kind of slingshot over to the track. Which not a lot of people noticed that he did that, which I noticed watching the video. I was like, oh, he's getting better traction away from the muddy area to come back around, which I thought that was kind of interesting to watch. Even when every race by race pass, I had Jeremy Dishman, a familiar name that people don't know in the industry. If you do look him up, he's a pretty cool cat. Was in my cab helping me. Like I was, learning about, his technique and picking his brain a little bit, which was pretty cool. And try to go around and do the racing and stuff like that. But every show, I kind of, learned from that. When I was in Springdale, I was talking to Mark about, different scenarios and stuff like that. And what would he do in that track, which was pretty cool. And he would pick his brain and stuff like that. So, like you said, with you talking to your dad about the track and the mud fest and stuff like that comes about, and it's pretty neat seeing that stuff. So I'm not going from off topic here, but so the second year was pretty insane. You have your racing wing, you had your rollover, you have a new motor, and now we talked about in the recording that we may talk about now is the truck that's behind you may have a new identity.
Yeah, and so we've ran this truck. This will be 2 years, and my dad likes to change it up. Like every 2 years, let's do something different because you don't want to bring like the same truck to the same shows because they get bored of it. So we've talked. There's talk about maybe just changing this body, or we could possibly be building a brand new one and coming out with something completely different. Because it's about time this truck like retires. It's getting old. It's getting its wear and tear. It's lasted us a long time. So next season, it could possibly be coming out with a brand new, just a brand new truck in general, and this one might be sitting in the shop just as like a backup truck. But we don't know yet because we don't know what's going to happen, and we still got to talk to our sponsors and figure that all out with the money.
And speaking of sponsors, that's one thing that when we had your dad on, that Rebestus has been a big part of your guys' program. Your dad works there, your grandfather's worked there. Just talk about the importance of having, Rebestus on board with you guys and just how they have helped you guys throughout your guys' team.
Like Rebestus has been a big part. Without them, we definitely couldn't be where we are because they've given us tremendous amount of help. Like they've helped us put this new body on my dad's truck and the wrap. And like they've given my grandpa's worked there, my grandma's worked there, my dad's worked there. And they've been a part. Everybody there basically knows me since I was little, so it's like a family. It's like another family. And honestly, definitely, we've also gotten to go have experiences like going to PRI, getting to bring the monster truck to PRI, which is not what everybody gets to do. So without them, we wouldn't be here.
Like I always mentioned to your dad about, like when I went to PRI, a lot of people were talking about the truck, which is, I always tell him that's a feather in his cap because you had racetracks, racetracks asking him to bring the truck there because of how it was on display. Non-monster truck people were talking about the truck being there, and having your sponsors relying on you guys to bring their product to the masses and using your truck as a marketing tool definitely has to be acknowledgeable. You know what I mean? It got to be something that kind of have a little bit of a pat on the back, and I thought that was pretty cool how you guys were kind of a little bit of the talk of PRI.
Yeah, like it was nice to like get there and everybody was talking about it because we spent a lot of time like on this truck over the winter. There was a lot of nights and a lot of frustration and a lot of nights the dad could get mad, and it was a struggle and trying to get it ready in time. There was nights I was out here helping dad put wrap on the body even though it was late and I was tired, but we were still out here and it looked good. And I'm glad like we showed up and it just having it there, everybody was like, you did good, this truck looks good. And it makes you happy and it makes you feel good to hear like people actually like what you've done. Unlike now, like the truck, he rolled it. It looked good until he rolled it.
And it also says something about a team when they show up with their equipment tight, as my dad says, tight and right. Make sure your stuff's tight and right. And like when I got to see the Hall Brothers trucks at World Finals and even just in their shop, they looked show ready. It just shows that you guys are proud of what you guys have and proud of what you guys do. And I think that's big because, the internet was abuzz this past weekend about, a certain thing, I'll say, a certain thing, I should say. And it just shows, if you take care of your stuff, people are going to book you a lot more. And especially at PRI, if you show up with your stuff looking tight and right and clean, you're going to be the buzz of the event.
All I have to say was laziness, but we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like dad's always, and sometimes it sucks because it's like you spend all this time you spend all these late nights working on this truck, making it look clean and stuff, and it gets tiring. You have sleepless nights, but like you said, like it something about showing up with everything put together. Like we can leave this shop, show up, put tires on it, put fuel in it, change the oil, and we're done. Unlike there's some teams that you got to work on it and work on it. And my dad doesn't want to be like that. He wants to be noticed for like good looking stuff. So people notice us for the good stuff and not, oh, your truck looks like crap. He doesn't want that.
Oh yeah, and that's also showing that you want to take care of your equipment. You're not lazy, as in like I guess you want to show up and bring your equipment. You know, I mean, there's teams that just run ragged and hard, but all of us run hard. Just we have a fine, I guess. There's a fine line, I guess you would say. And then there's a time. You know, I mean, there's a kind of a fine line on the equipment and trying to make it decent, which I mean I understand, Monster Jam, they one show they're all destroyed, but the next week it's all nice and going. Kohlers are like that with their trucks. They're like wondering like, man, that's gonna be hard for them to come back for next week before you know it. Avenger has a nice new flame body and it's all detailed to a point. Another team that's on here also, Richie and Colton. Their truck, they bring their truck to every dance, and it's ready for a new dress. I don't. They just came out with a new body. I don't know what it was for, but it was kind of neat seeing the Stormtrooper look, and and then Shane is on here too. They had a new look for their dysfunctional truck, and then his daughter. Faith with the judge. That's it's just kind of like I guess you would say like all trucks have to be like a little bit of a show and shine, or getting ready for the bout. They have every wrestler has their type of suit before they get into war, and it's kind of like us, what I mean, but we kind of like kind of put that glaze on the vehicle, you know what I mean? And it's cool to see the artwork and the beauty of sometimes the trucks, and you want to bring that out every single week. And I think sometimes, everyone has their own different ways of doing so, I guess, right?
Well, and I also want to mention another team that recently had to do something like that was the Send It Motorsports team with Terminal Velocity. The back to school bash completely tore the whole rear end of that truck out. After that insane racing finals, and then I think a week later they were at a show. I think they were at a Monster Jam show, and it was like, holy crap! Oh.
Okay. Back up.
Steve Jones mentioned about Brandon Nareau. I have a story about him. We were at Bloomsburg, and it got a little bit muddy. But the crazy thing is, it's like, how dedicated he is to that truck. He was up until like 2 o'clock in the morning just power washing that truck to be back how clean it was for the next show day. Instead of just letting it go and ready for the next weekend. Then the next show in Bloomsburg. Him and his crew guy was up until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, just pressure washing, just cleaning that bad news truck. It's just the TLC, I guess, of every single time you do something. That's just a quick story that I saw with Brandon's truck. That's what he does, but Oh no, someone's knocking. I don't think anyone's knocking in the rig. Get away! Anyway,
those are lot lizards.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not home. No UPS. But now we got the dad here, and I saw on Facebook there, Tom, that you got your 540 ready to go.
Yeah, had some tough luck there in Washington. We blew the 468 that we had in that truck. And I tell you what, that thing was a bad machine with that 468. And we tried finding a used motor. We checked everywhere. Just everything we found was either not in good condition or just wasn't built for our application. I talked to guys at over Ohio Crankshaft.
Nope, lost you guys. Nothing yet. Okay, Cheech, you're just messing with me there.
There, we back now?
Yeah, you're back.
There, we're back. A little bit of technical
I'm back
difficulty.
too.
I talked to the guys at Ohio Crankshaft, and I said, man, here's my timeline. I'm already missing. I had to cancel a show with Mike Harper. My first time getting to run with him. I called him up a couple of weeks. I said, man, I blew a motor. I could put a stock motor in this thing, but I just don't want to do that to you. I want to show up with a truck that's 100% ready to rock and roll. And, I had canceled one with him. I had canceled a couple with JR, and I talked to guys about it. I'm like, man, I just can't afford to be out the rest of the season. I said, what can you guys do? And they're like, we can have you on the Friday before your that next show. And I'm like, okay. It was a lot of money. I thought I was going to have to go to the bank, borrow some, but I'm like, let's do it. The fans out there, we love each and every one of you guys. You guys supported us at the last show that Jasmin was running, and they came out and rode the ride truck, and you know what? We had a spectacular night. They gave us the money we needed to get this new motor. So, we're putting a 540 in this thing. I told Ohio, I said, build whatever you can, whatever you got laying around. Just have to be a 540. And you know what? I can't wait to see what this best powertrain truck's going to do with that 540 in it. Like I said, it had a 468 before. Now we're going 540. We're going more speed on the blower. This thing's going to be one bad machine. If it hooks and it don't break, watch out because we're not going to live.
Man, you'll be definitely going for a ride with all that power. And how's the I believe you're running the S10 body. How's that been treating you for this year?
I really like that 37 Ford body that we used to have, but this S10 body is so much nicer. I got more room up in there. I can work on things. I can get the stuff easier. I got a lot more visibility on it, and the fans love this truck. Everybody I talk to says, man, that thing just looks fast, sitting still. And you know what? It is a fast truck, but I rolled it earlier this season. I came around a corner, and I just lifted for a second, and it hooked and flipped me right on over. And it did a little body damage. We pieced it back together to get through the season. We're going to do some repair work this winter, like Jasmin said. I don't like nothing to be all beat up and ragged. I want our trucks to look nice. I want it to perform good. And, we're going to take care of that this winter. We're going to do the body work. We're going to get it ready. And Rebessis is ready to put a new wrap on this thing. We're going to have a beautiful platform for them to put it on.
The cool thing also about that the 540 is that motor size is a proven motor size. Down in Florida, the Feld Group really relies on that type of motor size and cubic inch, and a lot of other teams do too. I think you have a very good productive session with that motor. If it goes all good, the longevity of that thing is going to last pretty good.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. It's putting us in the next bracket. This truck right here is just as competitive as any truck out there on the series, or even out there performing anywhere. Like you said, Monster Jam uses the 540. Almost everybody's went to the 540, and we were tried and true, man. We wanted to keep the small motor because we loved going out and beating our competition with the small engine. But you know what? Time just came around, and it's time to do it. We're going to put the big motor in it. Jasmin, if things work out for her, she may end up with a big one too here eventually. But we're just going to see how finances are in here.
So what's the engine size on Jasmin's truck right now?
Jasmin's running a 496, but a lot of people don't realize that hers doesn't even have a blower. It's naturally aspirated. It's got alcohol injection on it. That's a hopped up motor. It's got about 14 to 1 compression in that thing. That's why I kept telling her, I said, you got to put this thing to the floor. This truck wants to scream. And once she...
Nope, lost you guys there again.
Hello.
How about now? Now we're back.
Gotcha.
Now we're back.
Yep.
But, once she figured out how to drive this thing and got it to the floor, she's barely been competitive. She's been a tough one against racing. Like I said, her first win was against me in the finals at Terre Haute. And I always told her, I said, you know what? I'm never going to give it to you. You're going to have to earn it. And 2 shows later, was back us again in the finals. And you know what? She didn't win that round because I definitely was not lifting. I didn't give her nothing. But then again, she ran me a couple more shows later and she beat me. So, you know what? This girl right here, she's a bad competitor. She's starting to get real competitive. The rest of the guys out there already said, we can't give her an inch because she's going to beat us. So as long as she can get them on the start, she's got it.
So what would it take for you to put? So you could actually put the blower on that engine currently, or do you have to do a little bit of some switching around to get it compatible for the blower?
No, unfortunately, her motor's got way too much compression. If I tried to put a blower on it, it just wouldn't hold up for what we do. We're just going to have to look at getting her a whole new motor. That was kind of the plan originally this year. And then, unfortunately, my motor went, and we just had to spend everything we had to get another motor put in this thing because we have to be out there running the shows to be able to keep these trucks going.
Now, do you guys put any wagers when you are up against each other? Like, loser buys dinner, or do you guys put any wagers on your races?
Do dishes.
And if we did that, I'd have to buy it because she's using my money.
No, it's just whoever cleans the shop, and usually it's me. Even if I win, I still have to clean the shop.
Well, that's just because you beat me, so you have to.
So it's your punishment.
I rule. Yes, it's punishment because.
Okay, hush. So I didn't like the second race that we actually went up against each other, and he beat me was only because I didn't want to flip the truck. Because I came around the corner too sharp, and I went up onto a car, and I was like, well, I have to either there's something I have to do, so I kind of had to let out of it, and then he whooped my butt, but it's whatever.
Richie Kaiser says, Thomas, don't you have an engine to put in?
I do. I'm waiting on you to come over here, Richie, and put it in for me. You know what? Them guys in Ohio had nothing but great things to say about the Kaisers over there. I told him, I said, you know what? I've seen Colton put that thing through a lot this last year. So you guys have to build great motors. And, like I said earlier, though, I can't thank them enough for throwing this thing together as fast as they did. They moved us to the front of the line to get it done. And when everybody else told us no, they said yes. So you know what? You ever need a motor, give these guys a call.
I still remember 2 years ago, in between Indy Jamboree and Joe Sylvester's event, the motor issues that Colton was having to swap in a motor, and I still remember all that. That was it was about 2-ish years ago that happened. So, but the Kaisers,
Canadian invade my shop, and that was the hardest battle I ever had to deal with. I was sweating bullets. I thought we were gonna get taken over, but he left after I gave him some Portillas, and then.
Portillas and Culvers, come to Canada, please. I need you in my life again.
It was a small victory, but we won the battle. It's gonna be in the history books now. So, when the Canadian invaded Thomasboro, Illinois, and we had to defend them with food. But since we got you two there, it's some exciting news there, Jasmine, you want to talk about?
So finally I can share it, even though I've shared it on Instagram a little bit, but now there's more people who don't follow me on Instagram. But whenever I was in Cincinnati, I actually had to meet with Tyler and Tom for kind of something important. That Tyler wanted to meet me just to talk to me, and Tom was like, I need to talk to you. So I met up with Tom. And Tom's like, I've always wanted to drive for Monster Jam. That's what I want to do. That's hopefully what's going to happen whenever I graduate. Well, as Tom and I were talking, Tom's like, training's in spring. And Tom wants me to go to training in the spring for Monster Jam. So I will hopefully have the opportunity to go drive for Monster Jam coming up before our next season.
Yeah. Golf and clap. Oh, that's cool to hear, and and also let's one topic I guess we didn't have a chance to talk about, which is very key there for Monster Jam, is I noticed really compared to last year, your confidence on the interviews, talking in front of people, has skyrocketed. And then definitely trying to get yourself into that platform in the spring. They'll definitely be looking for that. So, you definitely how you feel now talking behind the mic. Obviously you're a lot more comfortable here talking in this interview right here that we're doing. But how do you feel compared to maybe last year?
I feel a lot better than last year. And JR and talking to everybody, they're like, you're going to have to get your confidence up. You're going to have to be able to talk in front of people. So they've really pushed me, and JR's helped a lot with that because he's like, here's the mic. Go talk on the mic. Even if I don't want to, he's like, go talk on the mic. You have to. It's going to help. It's only helped. And it's honestly helped a lot because now I can sit here and talk. And it does, unlike before where I would struggle. And now I can just blurt out stuff. And it's a lot better than what it was last year.
And Thomas, with this news, how proud are you of her and the opportunity that she's going to be hopefully able to drive for the premier monster truck promotion and do what she loves.
You know what? It's a proud moment for our family because I told her from the beginning when she said she wanted to do this. I said, she's like, well, what happens with you in the trucks? And I'm like, you know what? If you can go drive for them, you get to see the world. You get to go out. You get to run their trucks. You know what? This is a great honor for you. And it's great for our family. You know what? I'm super proud of her. It was not given to her at all. She has done everything herself. She did all the resume. She submitted everything. She's talked to Tom. She's talked to all of them all on her own. We did not go in there and open the doors for her. She had opened the doors, and you know what? She's proven it to everybody. Like she said, in the spring, they're looking to get her in there for the training and see what she does. And hopefully she can get on. If she does, great. If not, she's still going to have a funky monkey back there.
And one person that you probably saw a lot of is Macy. Did you ever try to pick her brain about, the news and stuff like that? And did she ever give you any insight of it?
She's talked to me a little bit about like things that she's experienced, but whenever like we release the news and stuff, she's like, I'm really proud of you. Just keep pushing. Don't give up. Like, you got this. And that was like her biggest piece of advice is just don't give up no matter what.
And it's cool. Like, seeing so many females in the sport, especially in Monster Jam, a lot of new ones coming in, who are some of the females that have driven past or currently that you look up to for inspiration, in Monster Jam or in the independent world?
Chelsea, and then like there's Jamie Sullivan and Kristen Anderson. Those are like the three main top people. And then you also have Macy, who's drove. And like with our series, we don't really have girl drivers. And then there's Michaela Rogers. She's a good one to like look up to because she's always been there. She's ran with me, so she can kind of give me the advice like just go out there and be yourself because she's crazy the way it is. So she's like, just be like me and you'll be okay.
All I heard was stories about her doing almost destroying a truck or something like that, and Chris always mentions about it. But she's a cool cat too. I talked to her and Terre Haute. But that's pretty cool seeing all those ladies and stuff like that. Once again, probably when you went to Cincinnati, you probably saw them drive, and also you mentally saw, okay, she did that. Add in your textbook way of driving too and stuff like that. So, for the fans in general, when is the next show for you guys?
September 14th in Greenville, Ohio.
Greenville, Ohio. Okay.
And who's going to be a part of that event besides you guys?
I think that it's going to be our two trucks are going to be there. I want to say Country Strong, I think Stomper, and American Scout, I believe, are the trucks that's going to be performing at that show. She's got that show coming up. We're doing two shows there on Saturday, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. And then in October, we got another show down in Kentucky. I can't remember exactly where the town's at, but Russellville, Kentucky will be down there performing in October. That'll be her last show in this truck behind us. Like she mentioned earlier, this truck's getting old. It's getting tired. This thing was never built to do what it's doing. It started out as an old school leaf spring truck, giving rides, and we've converted it to what it is now. And she's put it through its paces the last couple of years. So no matter what, if she doesn't get in with Monster Jam or if she does, we're still building a brand new truck. It's going to have a brand new chassis, brand new body. Everything's going to be new. The truck's going to be here ready to rock and roll. And hey, if she goes to Monster Jam, I may just have to pull double duty if I have to, or maybe Dad has come out of retirement. But we'll make it work. We're going to keep growing as a team, and we're just going to keep rolling, and we're going to be behind it 100%. I told her, I said, if you do get on Monster Jam, your first show, you realize the whole section's going to be sold out with nothing but your fans, full throttle, and everybody's been following her her whole career. I'll be right there with her face right on the front of my T-shirt saying, "That's my daughter out there giving her everything I can, cheering her on."
Yeah, and then you got Richie, who's gonna have like air horns and everything else, and Jr. I already know, and they're gonna have the big signs with like the most embarrassing pictures. I already know how that's gonna be. I said honestly, you might just have to rent out like the whole arena because there's so many.
Richie's
people.
gonna get kicked out before even getting in the arena.
I was gonna say, if you need another driver for the other truck, just throw Richie in there.
There we go.
But I noticed also on Facebook that I don't know if you guys are testing the waters, but I saw that your ride truck is for sale. Are you planning on converting the truck behind you as a ride truck, or?
Well, you never know what happens whenever I wake up. I eat them sandwiches sometime, go to bed, and I get these wild and crazy dreams and decide to do things. But we put the ride truck up for sale.
Streamers and spray from everywhere. Is what you said. No.
3 trucks is just almost too much for me to keep up with. It's me, her, and my dad over here sometimes helping us, and it's a lot of work keeping 3 trucks together, just the 3 of us, and it's a lot of work. So, hey, we put the ride truck up for sale. If it sells, it does. If it doesn't, well, we'll just keep running it when we can. And like you said, who knows? The truck behind us may get a second life.
Any social media that people can follow you guys and the team on?
I have my Instagram, which is just my name, and then we have the Monkey Business Facebook. I don't know what else. I think that's it.
Yep, that's pretty much it. We got our Facebook page, Monkey Business Monster Truck, on there. You can follow us on that. Like she said, she's got her Instagram. Follow us on Full Throttle. That's our primary promoter we work with. Full Throttle's been great to work with. That guy right there gave us a chance when nobody else would. We went from a leaf spring truck, steel body, to 2 race trucks, a ride truck, a trike, and an old school truck. So, you know what? We've done a lot with what we got, and we can't thank them enough.
Or you ever see the orange crate back in action?
We might. It's sitting over here, right here, actually in front of the Funky Monkey right now. That truck, man, it just beats the crap out of you. It hurts me every time I run it, so that's why I hate running it. And being an old truck, it was built in 1991. It's got a little bit of nostalgia. I just don't want to take a chance of rolling it. But we might get it out, do some car crushes here and there, just putting around old school stuff. Who knows? I've even talked about throwing some seats in the back of it, turning it into a ride truck.
First time I ever saw a transfer case be ahead of the monster truck at a monster truck race at the Bigfoot Open House. That was, whew, you were in the lead, and then the transfer case went further than the truck.
Hey, we still won the race, though. That's all that matters.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Nobody said every piece of the truck had to make it across the finish line together, right? When I line up on the starting line, all I see is that finish line, and I'm not going to lift until I'm at the other end. And that's just how our family's been. Yeah, we do whatever it takes to win.
That reminds me of that NASCAR dude before the race. I'm either going to see God or the checkered flag, or whatever he said.
Talk about a little bit, maybe the kind of the nostalgia history side of it. The orange crate truck, was that family owned, or was someone else owned that and you guys found it?
So Orange Crate's kind of a truck a lot of people don't really know a lot about. Dad built his truck back in the 80s, and a guy, it's a friend of ours, down in Vincennes, about an hour from us. He came up one day, wanted to buy Dad's truck. And Dad's like, I really don't want to sell it, but I'll help you build a truck. So this truck here, Dad they did some trading. He got him the parts he needed. He gave him the pointers and helped him build the truck. And, Stan Emery is the guy that originally had owned the truck. And he sold out. When Dad went bigger and started moving on, Stan just couldn't keep up with this old leaf spring truck. And, he sold the truck. It went down to Missouri, got kind of parted out. And I found it down in Arkansas because I looked for it for several years and wanted to bring it back. And Stan actually came up and we restored it, put it back together, and brought the picture books and everything. But, yeah, Stan's been a good friend of ours for many years. I mean, I've known him pretty much my whole life. And so it meant a lot to me and my family to get this truck back. Dad's old truck got scrapped after it got sold to Paul Winkleman. Frame and everything got cut up. Axles actually were underneath Brandon Overmeyer's American Outlaw truck there for a while. And, we couldn't get that truck back, so we did the next best thing. We got the truck that Dad helped build and got it back. And this truck will probably die with our family, and I'll probably never get rid of it. It just sits there and collects dust.
Just never let Colton drive it, because I feel like if Colton drove it, there'd be nothing left.
Exactly. Colton, man, he is on wildcat out there driving that truck. I keep telling Jazzy, I say, you know what? Everything Colton tells you, ignore it and do the opposite.
And then I never do.
And she didn't. Princeton, man, she wanted to hit that camper, and they told her, just go out there and just hit it with all the force. And what did you do?
I definitely hit it with the force. Okay, so like what actually happened was like Colton and I was nervous, and they're like, just walk out there with Colton. So Colton took me out there and was like, when you get to like this point, just like hammer it and go. And that's what I did. And I was just like, okay, well, I'll just send it. Might as well. Colton's always like, just send it. So I definitely just sent it. I mean, I blew the tire off the rim, but that was a problem for later to fix. It looked cool.
No skilletry.
Exactly. But she's learned a lot from these guys out there. Another great freestyle run that she had was up in Rensselaer, Indiana. She was out there, what they built to be a slap wheelie hill, and she's freestyling off this thing, launching the truck. And I thought for sure this old truck back here was going to fall apart. Man, this thing is one tough machine. We built a good truck around her, and I kept telling her, I said, you know what? We built a truck. It's strong. It's going to take it. Just send it with all you can.
Man, that's awesome. Just want to let people know about next week. We're going to actually have an RC show with some West Coast guys. Actually, West Coast guy and girl, Mike Letcher and Jessica Dial. So they do a lot of 3D modeling and printing and do some cool, awesome 10-skill RC. So we're going to have an RC episode next week, Brad.
It'll be awesome. I'm not too big into the RC stuff, but hopefully eventually I'll get my hands on a LMT and start. There's like no racing up here, but I just want one just to bash. That's all I want.
Yeah. Just don't run in the winter time or you have replacing axle housing.
Yeah, and with
just don't let Jasmine drive it.
And with all the snow that we get, that'd be a bad idea.
Yeah. That's just to give you a heads up. So in the wintertime.
Oh, did he die or is he still there?
Just run your thing in the inside.
Okay, you froze there, but I got
me.
Yeah, you froze for a second. Okay, you're not freezing there. By the way, hopefully the new audio quality is good. Again, new microphone, so hopefully everything sounds a little bit crisper on my end. So just wanted to point that out. Cheech, any social media that people can follow the Flying Panda on?
I got nothing.
All brothers.
We got I'm on all the social media platforms. Dan Cheech Gosh on Facebook, MT_Dan Agosh 28 on Instagram, and Dan Agosh 10 on the rest of the social media platforms, Snapchat and Twitter, and TikTok. Crush This is on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, but I think Brad uses that for more private use.
No.
Anyway,
you know what? Okay. I went live on Twitch a couple days ago because I got Monster Jam Showdown, but I couldn't remember our login for the Crush This page, so I went on my own page. But I don't
even know the login for Twitch.
Me neither. I forgot it.
So why do we even have a Twitch?
Because it's another platform to stream on for us.
So we have random people watching our Twitch, and we have no way to collect information on knowing who watches us.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. But if people want to follow me, go check me out at The Only Monster Truck Canucker. I just post stuff about my work and what I do for a living. Also, guys, September is Suicide Awareness Month. We preach mental health, on this podcast since day one. If you're struggling, going through anything, thoughts of suicide, please reach out to somebody. Reach out to the suicide hotlines. There's plenty of them out there. Just talk to somebody, please. We want you guys to live long and be healthy and prosper and so much more. Yes, I knew you were going to do that, Cheech. Just reach out to someone. We don't want to lose you guys. And, I like I said, I've been preaching that since day one, and I will continue to do it. And as Cheech always tells people,
donate blood. Go ahead and do that too. Get your Central Blood Bank, United Cross, stuff like that, just to help people out. You just never know who needs it, and always try to be there whatsoever. I joke around because of Bob Barker. I think it was a previous episode. Someone said, "You have donated blood and everything like that." And now nowhere you say, "Don't forget your animal spayed and neutered." But I think that was a Bob Barker thing from Price is Right.
Yes.
He always said that at the very end. But we just joke around about. I guess not really joke around. Okay, just make Bob Barker stuff. But on the serious note, the donation of blood, do that, help out, and all that jazz. So.
And then one quick question for Jasmin and Thomas there. Kirk Nagy wants to know, how many more shows do you guys think I have left this year?
We got the Ohio show coming up, and then I head down to Georgia to do one in Marietta. There's another town down there just north of Marietta. We'll be doing one in October, and then we got the one in Kentucky, and then we're done for the season. And, we're going to start ripping some things apart and redoing these trucks, get them ready for 2025.
So you have 4 and I have 2.
Yeah, you got 2, I got 4.
Well, if you guys are around those areas, go check out Jasmin and Thomas and the Team Funky Monkey and Rebestis Trucks. Guys, thank you for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on. We've had all 3 generations on, and, we'd like to have all 3 of you on at the same time. I think that'd be an awesome episode eventually. And, you guys be safe. And, as we always say on the podcast, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up, everybody. Peace.